So June 2021, question 5. 100 students were surveyed on the amount of money they spent on data for their cell phones during a week. The table below shows the result as a result, as well as the midpoint for each class interval, and part 1A says, determine the modal class of the amount of money spent. What is our modal class? And remember, mode is looking at the one with the highest value, highest frequency. What is our modal class? Very good, most frequency. So which class is that from our graph? $70 is greater than X, which is less than or equal to 80. So as we can see, this is the modal class because it has a frequency of 31. Mode speaks to the one with the highest frequency, the one that occurs the most, the event that took place the most. And in this case, it was 31, and that corresponded with the class interval of 70 to 80. Part B says, calculate an estimate of the mean amount of money spent, giving your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So they want us to calculate an estimate of the mean amount of money spent. So if you don't remember your formula, this is it. So mean, which should be an X with a slash over the top, mean is equal to sum of f of x. Do I have the sum sign here? Exactly, the sum of the f of x, which is the number of students and the frequency, so we're looking at the sum of f of x over the sum of the frequency. And that would be, so you're looking at the sum of f of x. So what we're legit doing is this. So we are doing 7 multiplied by 55 plus 11 multiplied by 65 plus 31 multiply by 75 plus 29 multiply by 85 plus 22 multiply by 95, and all of that is divided by the total frequency, which is 100. You can add the frequency and you see that it is 100, or it was stated in the question, it says 100 students were surveyed. So that is our total frequency. And we can now work, so 7 times 55, what you'll get is 385 plus 715 plus 2,325 plus 2,465. All of that is divided by our total frequency of 100. Anybody get our mean as yet? So I'm going to stop here. Anybody, what is our mean? So that is our formula for mean. When it comes on to this kind of data, the sum of f of x over the sum of f.
So sorry, what the f mean?
Frequency. So you see it here in our table, number of students, which is also the frequency. So the number of students who spent between this range.
Times the x.
Yeah. Times the x, which x is our midpoint, which is also labeled on our table. So anybody what has
100 is the total amount of student.
Go again?
100 is the total amount of student.
Yes. Which if you also add the frequency here, you get the same 100. 79.8. That's what I got. So after you do this, what you'll get here is 7,980 divided by 100, and you'll get $79.80. So this is the mean amount of money that is spent. So remember your dollar sign because we're looking at money. So this is the mean amount of money that was spent. So that is our formula, the sum of f of x over f. And that is our formula. Any questions on this one? All right, so part 2 says, Damien reports that the median amount of money spent is $84, and they want us to briefly explain why Damien's report. So you didn't multiply 22 and 95, I didn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I missed one. 7 times 65. That. Oh, yes, that is true. So this will give him plus 2,090. And then I'll have 7,980 divided by 100. Thank you for that, Sims. So part 2, it says Damien reports that the median amount of money spent is $84, and they want us to briefly explain why Damien's report could be correct. So if you know the formula, so first of all, we know that there are 100 students were 100 students were is it interviewed here or surveyed? So therefore our median, and remember this formula for median, it only gives us the position and not what the median is. So n is 100, which is the total number of students. So 100 plus 1 divided by 2, and this will give us 101 divided by 2, which is equal to 50.5. So our median value is in the 50.5 position. So this gives us the position. So this is what this median formula gives us, the position. So now if we look at our frequency here, so from where our median value is 50.5, we therefore know that our median is between the 50th and the 51st value. And 7 plus 11, that will give us what? 18. And then 18 plus 31, that will give us 49. So if you look, 7 plus 11, this will give us 18. And then 18 plus 31, this will give us 49. Now, after this, there are 29 students, which means that since we're just looking for the 50th and the 51st quote unquote student, it means that they would fall within this class interval, which is the 80 to 90. And they want us to show or prove that Damien said that, remember Damien said that the median value is $84. And within this class interval, we can see that $84 would indeed be in this class interval because it starts at 80, ends at 90. So 84 would be in this class interval. So we first find where the median position was, which was between the 50th and 51st value. Based off our frequency, the 50th and the 51st value would be in this class interval. And therefore, our $84 is in that class interval. So we can say that Damien's estimate could be correct. So therefore, the median is between the 50th and 51st position. This corresponds with the class interval of 80 is less than x greater than or equal to 90. And this is it. And by the way, this is 1 mark, so not much is required. You just need to find the median, find out where the median is related to your table. And that is it. So just find where the median position is, look at your table, and you get your answer, or you can determine if they are correct or not. Any question from this one?
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
if you put it, things in order, would you get it on the table?
Which order?
If you rearrange F in order.
As in, you'd put what? 11, 7, 11, 22, 31?
Yeah, 22, 29, and then 31.
No, because remember, if you move the frequency, remember the frequency is corresponding to different class intervals. The class intervals are already in order because it is $50 to $60, $60 to $70, $70 to $80. So if you're moving the frequency, it means that you'll be moving the class intervals with it as well, which would then throw things off.
Okay,
So it's just about adding the frequencies to see from the frequencies where the 50th and the 51st student falls, which class interval are they in. So part B, it says the two-way contingency table below gives information on the mode of transportation to school for 100 students, which is walk, cycle, and drive. And there are some missing values, and they want us to complete the table. So now looking at it from boy, we can either go this way, or you can go this way, this way, this way. There are lots of ways that we can go for this. Just like with math, multiple ways to solve the same issue. So for cycle here, what would be the value for cycle there? So we're looking at this one right here. What would be the value for cycle? 19. So if you look, the mode of transportation, walk, cycle, drive, they're telling us that 48 boys are in this. And from the 48, we know that 15 walk, 14 drive, which means that the remaining amount must be those that cycle. So if we do 15 plus 14, you get 29, and all we need to do is to 48 minus 29, and you'll get 19. So 19 students cycle to school. So what will be the total here? Because this column is total. What would be the total here? So, or you could say that based on the position of the median fall within the interval that, therefore this would not be. Yes, you can make that statement as well. So yes, for those that cycle, it would be 37. And what would be the amount of girls that walk?
Sir, I get 19, sir.
If you look at boys, on this column we have 15, blank space 14, and it should give us a total of 48 boys. We already know that 15 walk, 14 drive, which means that the missing amount from the 48 must be those that cycle. So when you do 15 plus 14, you get 29. You subtract 29 from 48, and you get 19.
All right.
Good. For this is 8, as everyone is saying, because the total number of students that walk is 23. So if we know 15, that 15 are boys, we get the remaining amount for girls by doing 23 minus 15, and we got 8. And for the total girls here, we will get 52, as Selena said, so it will be 8 plus 18 plus 56, and that would give us 52. And you'll see that our answer is also correct. So you could have also done it, how Selena said, you could have also done 100 minus 48, and you'd have gotten the same 52 here. So that is our completed table for 2 marks. Part 2 now says a student is selected at random. What is the probability that he or she was being driven to school on that day? So remember, probability is what you are interested in over the total. So the probability that a student was being driven to school, so you're looking at the total students that are being driven over the total number of students. So we're looking at the probability of students being driven to school, that would be equal to number of students driven over total number of students. And yes, Renisa and everyone else above, but Renisa, the difference between your answer and those above is that they simplify. And remember, in mathematics, once it can be simplified, you go ahead and do so. So the total number of students that were driven is 40 over the total number of students is 100. This can be simplified. First, if you cancel the zeros, you get 4 over 10, which can be further simplified to what Alicia or Selena have, which is 2 over 5. And that would be your probability, 2 over 5. So the probability that a student selected at random was driven to school is 2 over 5. Get me, Renisa? All right, good. So it says one of the girls is selected at random. What is the probability that she did not cycle to school? So now we're looking at the girl. What is the probability that she did not cycle to school? So if we're looking at the probability that she did not cycle to school, that means this probability would therefore be that she either walked or she was driven to school. So what would that probability be? Very good. So look at the number of girls who did not cycle over the total number of girls, because we're now focusing on the girls. So therefore, this probability, so total number of girls who did not cycle, it means that they either walked or drive. So it would be 18 plus 26. That will give us 34. So it would be 34 over the total number of girls, which is 52. And again, once in math, once we can simplify, we go ahead and do so. 2 into 32 will leave us with 17. 2 into 52 will leave us with 26. So our answer is 17 over 26. And that is our final answer. And we don't reach section 2 as yet, right? In section 2 of the paper, no, we're just at question 5. So this is our answers. So we're looking at Janelle, the total number of students, the probability that a girl did not cycle to school. So remember, there are 3 modes of transportation: walk, cycle, and drive. So if we're looking at the probability that she did not cycle to school, if she, exactly. So if she did not cycle to school, it meant that she either walked or she was driven. Because I want us the probability that she did not cycle. So if she did not cycle, she took one of the other mode of transportation. She either walked to school, or she drove to school, or she was driven to school. So therefore, it would be the other mode of transportation over the total girls. So it would be the 18 for those who walk, the 26 for those who drive, and that gave us a 34 over the total number of girls, which is 52. And that is how we got 34 over 52, which when we simplify, we got 17 over 26. Any clearer? All right, very good. So that is it for part 3. Let us, okay, that is the end of question 5.